Congratulations, you're back for your second conjugation lesson, which tells me that you're serious about learning French. Today, the lesson is going to be a little different. We're learning the passé composé, the composed past, which is really the most commonly used past tense in French. But it's a very easy conjugation, actually, as I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So instead of learning songs today, learning conjugations, we're going to put the passé composé in context into sentences, short sentences. So we're going to learn a little bit of vocabulary at the same time. The passé composé is used to say, if we take the example of the verb to do, for example, I did it, I have done it, I did do it. Okay, those are the three possible translations. There is another commonly used past tense, which is the imperfect, that we will learn soon, which we use when we want to say I used to do something or I was doing something. But today we're doing the passé composé. So I did it, I've done it, I did do it. And it is conjugated just like in English when we conjugate I have done, I have spoken, I have lived. Okay? So we use auxiliary verbs, like the verb avoir and the verb être. Okay, just like when in English we say I have done it, we use the verb avoir in French, and in some cases we'll use the verb être. So the key here is not really the conjugation of the verb avoir or être, because it's going to be the same as it is in the present tense, and it's always going to be the same basically. But it's going to be to figure out the past participle of the verb, which is basically done, spoken, lived, and it's going to change depending on the verbs. So the past participle, le participe passé, is the key to the passé composé. So here are the possible endings. For the verbs of the first group, ending in er, like parler, it's going to be e accent aigu, the E with the accent. The IR endings, finir, like the verbs of the second group and some verbs of the third group. It's going to be I, fini, the E ending. The RE endings, rendre, will transform to U for the past participle. Same thing for the OIR endings, the voir, boire, will become vu, okay, with the U. So let's start with the ER endings, the verb parler. J'ai parlé, tu as parlé, il a parlé. Nous avons parlé, vous avez parlé, ils ont parlé. Okay, so that's about all the conjugation we're going to do today. We're going to do conjugation, but in the context of sentences, because since we're really only conjugating the verb avoir and the verb être, we're going to focus on the participe passé, which will be highlighted in yellow for all the different verbs that we're going to do today, and see how they're used in sentences and how they can be translated. J'ai parlé à Jean. I spoke to Jean. J'ai parlé à Jean. J'ai trop mangé. I ate too much. J'ai trop mangé. Finir, to finish, will become fini for the past participle. J'ai fini mon travail. I finished my work. J'ai fini mon travail. J'ai déjà fini. I am already done. J'ai déjà fini. Rendre, which means to return or to give back. Participe passé, rendu. J'ai rendu le livre. I returned the book. J'ai rendu le livre. Elle m'a rendu la monnaie. She gave me change. Elle m'a rendu la monnaie. So la monnaie is change. Voir, to see, participe passé, vu. Nous avons vu ce film. We have seen this movie. Nous avons vu ce film. Ils nous ont vus. They saw us. Ils nous ont vus. Okay, they were good examples of the regular past participles, but there are some irregular past participle. Of course, this is the French language, full of exceptions, and that's where we're going to spend most of our time today. So let's start with offrir, to offer. Le participe passé is offert, ERT ending, offert. Je lui ai offert des cadeaux. I offered him or her presents. Je lui ai offert des cadeaux. Il m'a offert des fleurs. He offered me flowers. Il m'a offert des fleurs. Découvrir, to discover. Découvert is the participe passé. Nous avons découvert un site internet. We discovered an internet site. Nous avons découvert un site internet. Ils ont découvert une île. They discovered an island. Ils ont découvert une île. Ouvrir, to open. Ouvert is the participe passé. J'ai ouvert la porte. I opened the door. J'ai ouvert la porte. Nous avons ouvert l'enveloppe. We opened the envelope. Nous avons ouvert l'enveloppe. Souffrir, to suffer. Participe passé, souffert. Ils n'ont pas souffert. They did not suffer. Ils n'ont pas souffert. Notice here how the negative is placed around the verb avoir, the auxiliary verb, okay? Before and after. Sourire, to smile. Sourit is the participe passé. Elle m'a souri. She smiled at me. Elle m'a souri. Je lui ai souri. I smiled at him or at her. Je lui ai souri. Suivre, to follow. Participe passé, suivi. Je l'ai suivi. I followed him. Je l'ai suivi. Elle m'a suivi chez moi. She followed me home. Elle m'a suivi chez moi. Chez moi means at my place. Apprendre, to learn. Participe passé, appris. Elle m'a tout appris. She taught me everything. Elle m'a tout appris. Notice how the me, which is here abbreviated because it's followed by a vowel, is placed before the verb, not after the verb like in English. J'ai appris l'anglais. I learned English. J'ai appris l'anglais. Mettre, to place, to put on. Participe passé, mis. The S is silent. Elle a mis la table. She set the table. Elle a mis la table. J'ai mis un pull. I put on a sweater. J'ai mis un pull. Prendre. To take. Participe passé, pris. Elle a pris son temps. She took her time. Elle a pris son temps. J'ai pris un billet d'avion. I bought a plane ticket. J'ai pris un billet d'avion. Conduire. To drive. Participe passé, conduit. Elle a conduit tout le temps. She drove the whole time. Elle a conduit tout le temps. J'ai conduit très vite. I drove very fast. J'ai conduit très vite. Dire, to say, to tell. Participe passé, dit. The T is silent. Elle m'a dit. She told me. Elle m'a dit. Je lui ai dit hier. I told him or her yesterday. Je lui ai dit hier. Écrire. To write. Écrit is the participe passé. Elle m'a écrit. She wrote me. Elle m'a écrit. J'ai écrit une longue lettre. I wrote a long letter. J'ai écrit une longue lettre. Boire, to drink, participe passé, bu. Elle a bu beaucoup d'eau. She drank a lot of water. Elle a bu beaucoup d'eau. Connaître, to know, participe passé, connu. Il est connu dans le monde entier. He is known in the whole world. Il est connu dans le monde entier. Il l'a connu depuis longtemps. He has known him for a long time. Il l'a connu depuis longtemps. Devoir, to have to need to. Participe passé, dû. Il a dû rentrer. He had to go. He had to go home or he had to go back. Il a dû rentrer. Falloir. To be necessary. Participe passé, fallu. So falloir usually is used with il, kind of an impersonal way. And so let's see the example. Il a fallu faire nos valises. We had to pack our suitcases. Il a fallu faire nos valises. So here we're not saying we had to, but il a fallu, it's just an impersonal way of saying it was necessary. Il a fallu faire nos valises. We had to pack our suitcases. Il a fallu rentrer de bonne heure. We had to go home early, or we had to go early. Il a fallu rentrer de bonne heure. Lire, to read, participe passé, lu. Il a lu tous ses livres. He read all these books. Il a lu tous ses livres. Plaire, to please, to be liked. Plu, c'est le participe passé. Il a plu à tout le monde, meaning everybody liked him. Il a plu à tout le monde. Tout le monde is the whole world, meaning everybody. Ce film m'a beaucoup plu. I like this movie a lot. This movie pleased me a lot, so I like this movie a lot. Ce film m'a beaucoup plu. Pleuvoir, to rain, participe passé plu, the same but different meaning. Il a plu toute la nuit. It rained all night. Il a plu toute la nuit. Pouvoir, to be able to. Participe passé, pu. Je n'ai pas pu venir. I was not able to come. Je n'ai pas pu venir. Recevoir, to receive, also to host. Participe passé, reçu. J'ai reçu mes amis chez moi. I had my friends over. I received my friends at my place. I had my friends over. J'ai reçu mes amis chez moi. J'ai reçu un colis. I received a package. J'ai reçu un colis. Savoir, to know, and also to find out. Participe passé, su. Je l'ai su tout de suite. I knew it right away. I found out right away. Je l'ai su tout de suite. Vouloir, to want. Participe passé, voulu. J'ai toujours voulu savoir. I've always wanted to know. J'ai toujours voulu savoir. J'ai voulu une glace. I wanted an ice cream. J'ai voulu une glace. All right, now we're going to look at some verbs that use the verb être as the auxiliary instead of the verb avoir. Those verbs are usually related to movement, a person moving. For example, a person leaving, arriving, climbing, going down, falling. So let's see those examples. Okay, so the verb aller is one of those verbs, to go. So there's definitely movement there. Le participe passé is aller. Je suis allé. Tu es allé. Il est allé. Nous sommes allés. Vous êtes allés. Elles sont allées. Okay, here let's stop for a second. What's different here with the verb être, when we use the verb être as the auxiliary, is that the participe passé is going to agree with the subject of the sentence. So in the plural form here, we have the S of the plural, okay? And on purpose I use elle here instead of il to show the feminine, and we see that it's going to agree also in the feminine, and it's going to take an E to mark the feminine right here. It's only really important if you're writing French, not necessarily when you're speaking it, but just FYI. Je suis allé le chercher. I went to get him. Je suis allé le chercher. Arriver, to arrive, participe passé, arriver. Je suis arrivé le premier. I arrived first. Je suis arrivé le premier. Descendre, to go down. Descendu, participe passé. Je suis descendu au sous-sol. I went down to the basement. Je suis descendu au sous-sol. Le sol is the ground, okay? Sous is under, so I went to the underground. So I went to the basement. Entrer, to come in, to enter. Participe passé, entrer. Ils sont entrés par là. They entered that way. Ils sont entrés par là. So here we see that it agrees with il, which is plural, because we have the verb être as the auxiliary. That wouldn't be the case if we had the verb avoir, to have. It would not need to agree. Partir, to leave, parti. Je suis parti de bonne heure. I left early. Je suis parti de bonne heure. Elle est partie avant nous. She left before us. Elle est partie avant nous. Again, it agrees here in the feminine. Sortir, to go out. Sorti, pour participe passé. Je suis sorti avec des amis. I went out with some friends. Je suis sorti avec des amis. Tomber, to fall, participe passé, tomber. Je suis tombé dans les escaliers. I fell in the stairs. Je suis tombé dans les escaliers. Venir, to come, participe passé, venu. Il est venu nous voir. He came to see us. Il est venu nous voir. Notice here how us is placed before the verb. And here voir is in the infinitive because we have two verbs following each other. So the second one is always in the infinitive. Ils sont tous venus. They all came. Ils sont tous venus. Again, it agrees here in the plural form. Now, the verb être, of course, can also be conjugated in the passé composé. Le participe passé is été, just like summer. Vous avez été gentil. You have been nice. Vous avez été gentil. Ils ont été malades. They've been sick. Ils ont été malades. Now the verb avoir is also, of course, can be conjugated in the passé composé. And we use the verb avoir as the auxiliary for the verb avoir. So the participe passé is eu. And here we go. Ils ont eu de la chance. They've been lucky. They were lucky. Ils ont eu de la chance. J'ai eu chaud. I was hot. I've been hot. J'ai eu chaud. Now, j'ai eu chaud is also an expression in French. It means I felt the heat. Something bad almost happened to me, you know. I was speeding on the highway. I passed a police car, and they didn't see me, and they didn't stop me. J'ai eu chaud. All right, this is our second conjugation lesson, and we just finished it. It's c'est l'heure du champagne. It's time for champagne. I'll see you on the practice video very soon. Bye-bye. À bientôt.